What's going on, you guys? This is Coach Ike, man. We have another edition of Everything Uncovered, man. I'm excited about my guest, man. But before we get into that, I want to share with you guys about our DB membership. If you guys are not in it, you guys are crazy, man. I tell you all the time, we have virtual workouts. We also have in person. We work out 3 times a week during the week, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. We also get film study. We're breaking down plays, coverages, all these things on our Chalk Talks. We're also going over financial literacy. We're also talking about recruiting. All these things you are getting in a DB membership. Make sure you guys click. I'm going to put this down in the description to join. You guys are missing out, as well as we have the official Authority Sports gear. So if you guys will want that, we have shirts, we have backpacks. Soon we'll have hoodies and sweatpants as well. So getting to my guest, man, this guy is from Pasadena. Went to John Muir High School. I know I'm a Bulldog, but I've been having a lot of stains on lately. That's just who I'm around, you know. This young man recently just did something very big. Probably one of the best events I've ever been to in my life, and we'll go more into details of those things. But I want to give a welcoming to Marcus Thompson, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it for having me. Just extending the invite, man, to hop on the show. I know you got a lot of big names that's been on here, man. So it's just an honor, to be called upon. So, I appreciate it.
Nah, man, I told you prior to the wedding, I said, look, man, I'm gonna have you on. I said I waited just for this moment because I want to talk about some things, man. So, man, let's hop into it, bro. So, of course, you're born and raised in Pasadena. We know how that
Yeah.
is, but of course, each household is different. Each person's upbringing is a little different, bro. How was your childhood growing up in Pasadena, man?
Man, it was a little bit of a struggle, single parent home, just me and my mom, man. Like in the early ages, my dad was like in and out in jail all the way up to like high school, man. So it was kind of tough just only having that woman figure. So she allowed me to like hang out with friends and even stay with close friends like,
Mm-hmm.
Chalk, Austin, growing up, just so I could be around other males, so just trying to get some more experience and just hanging out with other boys as well, just to, so I won't be so feminine just growing up in a single woman home. So, so it was a struggle, but I made the best of it. So, I played my cards. I think I played my cards right. So,
Now for sure, and that's very important because what you just did this past Saturday, that plays a big part. And like I said, we'll get into that. So of course you are staying with friends, being around other men, figures and things of that sort. So when did football really become into the picture? And then did you always envision that's what you was gonna do once you got older?
man, it really didn't come into I was young, but we all started young. So I think with
Mm-hmm.
third grade, hanging out with Chalk, they introduced me to the Pasadena Panthers, man. So that's where all started. Before I was just a basketball guy, man. Had my hoop earring in. I wanted to be like Mike, man. So I was like, I had the hoop dream, and then I got introduced to football, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. And then
Yeah.
I started doing my research. Charles Woodson, he played on the Raiders, so that became my
Mm-hmm.
favorite player. So I tried to like idolize myself after him and my game after him, man, because he's one of the best to ever do it. So I was like, yeah,
Exactly.
football's where it says. So I was just like, man, I'm all in now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nah, for sure. And we both are Raider fans. We always talking about it. But at what point in time, because you was a dual athlete, I don't did you play basketball in high school?
yeah, my freshman year came in playing all four, man, baseball, track, basketball, and football, man. Then during that time at Mirror, the baseball team wasn't all that great. So I
Mm-hmm.
just focused on the three, which was track, basketball, and football. So and then it was just all downhill, man. Just I was busy around the clock, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So I don't know if people know who you are on the track because of course Mirror has always been good as far as a football program. Mirror is dominated, but Mirror is also known for their track. And
yeah,
you might be one of the greatest hurdlers in a decade that Mir has had. So you probably will go in the Hall of Fame at Mir, and I'm speaking that into existence. Because the things that you did during the time you were San Gabriel athlete in track, was it 2 years or just that 1 year?
That 1 year, yeah.
That 1 year, our senior year. So,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, you on a football team, you guys are going to the playoffs. We never beat you guys. My whole 3 years I was on varsity, my 4 years, I never beat Mir. So what was it now? What was that experience from, playing all three sports and whatnot, and then coming out of high school? What was that process as far as your recruitment going to college?
Man, so the recruitment was there, but it wasn't like nobody was really like dialing in and locking in on your boys. So like they showed a lot of interest in like track and football, of course, but nobody just like pulling that trigger, man. A, a school offered me actually in Turlock. It was like a Cal State, but man, for track. But I was like, man, I'm a football guy, man. I
Yeah.
just did track just to
Mm-hmm.
bypass the time, man. And it was kind of like it was a mandatory thing at Mary. You play football, you gotta run track. So I was like,
Exactly.
man, nah. Nah, I'm good, man. So I was just trying to explore my options.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm doing whatever high school students should be doing, applying to colleges. So I'm applying to colleges. And then I got into Arkansas Pine Bluff, man. So
Got you. Got you.
I wasn't going to Mount Sac with my boys, you, Austin, Dion, but man, my mom wasn't having that. She was like, look, if you go to Mount Sac, she pretty much told me I can't live with her. So I was like, dang, I can't go stay with Austin because you already had somebody staying with
Yeah.
him. So I just had to go to Pine Bluff, man, and see what happened. So I ended up out there for a year.
Yeah, man, because I remember that it was Coach Meat. He had
Coach
all of
me.
us come up there. We actually went to a practice, and we was all like actually during spring ball getting reps. And we
Hmm.
were like, yeah, bro, we all gonna be up here. Next thing I know, it was like Marcus can't do it. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah,
So
man.
um so share that experience though, once you got up there, because did you know anybody out there? Like what made you, of course, you apply for there and whatnot, but what made you choose Arkansas Pine Bluff out of all the other places?
Yeah, I'm just gonna rewind a little bit because I remember that, man. I was during spring and my track coach Mike knows he was not happy with me, man. Cause it's
Uh,
CIF time. You're like, man, you need to be here at practice. I'm like, man, I'm a football guy, man.
exactly.
He tried to give me the best prom. He was like, man, you need to be here. Like, man, I'm a football guy, so I'm going to practice at the sack. Man. I don't even care what you was talking about. So that was crazy, man. But I still made it happen. So Coach Me and Coach Walker, I thank those guys, just for showing the interest in trying to get
Hmm.
me. But my mom had the last say so I had to make it happen. But Arkansas Pine Bluff, man, it was a great experience, man. I didn't know nobody. When I say nobody, zero, man. So it was a kind of emotional moment for me, because once my mom left and I was all settled down, I was like, damn, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Got to start all over making friends. So my roommate was actually like I guess my first friend there, Lee. He was in a band, so he had some pull a little bit, so he was
Hmm.
able to show me around. Cause HBCU, the bands are big in there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so he was just hanging out with him. Then I got to wiggle, figure out my old friends, and who I
Hmm.
wanted to hang out with. So yeah, but me and Lee still cool to this day. I talk to him every now and then because that's my first roommate. We seen a
Yeah.
lot, did a lot, so it was cool though.
And during this time, Arkansas Pine Bluff, they didn't have a football team, right?
No, they had a football team, but they were terrible, man. I was like, man, I can't. I came from a winning program, and you come in here winning 2 or 3 games. So, like, I think a month or two in, because I was gonna walk on there, but I was like, man, it's not even worth it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. So I started making some calls. I hit up Dwayne Walker, hit up Mike McFarland from Missouri Western. So,
Mhm.
and I was just, talking to those two to see what I could do.
So prior to you hitting up anybody, what did you learn about yourself? Because we are young adults at this time, and our environment really shape us. But once we get out of our environment to a new environment, we start to really learn who we are. What did you learn about yourself when football's not there and you're just now a student, a regular person on campus? What did you learn about yourself?
Man, I learned I knew I could be independent, but I really knew at that point like, hey, I could be independent. I could, really do this on my own and make
Yeah.
some stuff shake without my family nearby, man. Because like I said, like you have zero support system. You don't know anybody, so you got to figure it out on your own. So that's what I really learned. Like, hey, like I can really be independent
Yeah.
and not really rely on anybody for real. Just going out and just finding the resources and figuring things out on my own. So I think I
Mhm.
really learned that about myself. So just putting the pieces together.
Nah, I
Also
mean,
made me mentally strong too, man, because it's not easy being on your own, man. So
I tell the guys all the time, I'm like, leaving home, it's like a shock.
hmm
Depending on where you go and how far you go, it's a shock and it's just an adjustment that you have to make. And it's not like really for bad, it's just a growth period. And nobody likes to
hmm
be uncomfortable. So I think we all go through that. Some go through it harder than others, but we
right.
all gonna get through that process. So man, you explained you hit up Coach McFarland. Coach McFarland, he actually recruited me. At Missouri Western, so I know who you're talking about. He actually then came to HS. Coach McFarland also came down to offer T and Tyrone
hmm
Crockham. He played with me. He was our quarterback. So you end up going to Missouri Western. How did you get up there, and then what was the process of you getting on that team? Because people don't realize it's not easy just to walk on or get on the team automatically. So what was
Right.
that process for you?
Um, I think it was a pretty smooth transition, man. I sent my scores in, applied. Mike McFarland put a good word in for me. Crockett put in a good word for me. So, I guess they names they word whole weight there. So, they got me in. I walked on. The rest is history, man. Made it happen. So,
Mm-hmm. So can you share now what was that feeling because you set out a year
hmm
of not playing football, and for some people, your mindset, you're not getting contact, you're not working out, any of those things, you can get used to it as a player. Just be like, man, this is what it feels like. What was
hmm
your mindset now getting back on the field? Like, did you want to go harder? Did you was like, man, you know what? I'm kind of like laid back. What was your mindset going back on that football field?
And it was like I gotta get back to it. I gotta catch back up.
Yeah.
It's college ball. They're a lot faster, a lot bigger, so a lot more advanced. So I was like, I gotta catch back up. So it was just like, man, I was behind, man. I was a whole year behind. I was like, dang, I lost a step, so I'm just trying to catch back up. So it made me a little bit more hungrier. I was like, man, I gotta get to. I was already hungry for the game, but just taking a year off and being a step behind, I had to get back to it, put in some work, and try to catch back up, man. So.
So there at Missouri Western, y'all had a great experience. I mean, I don't think too many people experience winning, and you guys did it at a high level. Before we go into what you guys did, how was your overall experience on and off the field at Missouri Western?
Um, Culture change for sure, man. Because like I said, Arkansas and Pine Bluff was a HBCU. Then Mirror was predominantly black back then, so it's just like black community to another black community. Then boom, PWI is like, whoa, hold on, like
Yeah.
small town. A lot of country activities, country music. So I was like, man, what did I get myself into? I was just listening to Young Gotti just a week ago, man. So I was like, man, this is different. But it was good for me. So it allowed me to experience new things, see other cultures, and just meet new people. I mean, some of the people, they were in the wedding, so it was like
Yeah.
lifelong friends. So it was a great experience, I should say the most. I make some great coaches that I'm still in contact with from this day. Like Aaron Bill, Coach Chowder, Wes Bill, those are my guys. So
Hmm.
and shout out to Ronnie Bill, man. So I know he's in the draft this year. So I hope he can
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So you guys just this past October 2022, you guys, whole team got inducted into the Hall of Fame. You guys had the best record At that point, you guys went 12-2, 9-1 in you guys conferences. That's the most wins in school history. You guys also beat 6 top 25 teams, first playoff history wins. Then you guys went on the road and won a playoff game. You guys fell just short in the playoffs, didn't go to championship game, but share that experience, how that ride was, and what will you take most from that team?
Man, my boy Arnez did his homework, huh, man? I see you, man. I see you. Man, what would I take most? We was brothers, man. We all brought in. We all fought for each other, man. We all knew what we was there for. It was no
Yeah.
question why we was there and what our mission was, man. So it really hurt that we fell short, man. I like, losing in high school. It was like, man, these are like, because like those are people you grew up with in your community. Like, man, these are your friends. Then I was like, man, it was tough. So it's like I kind of related to that. It was tough because it's my brothers. We spent a lot of time together. A common same blood, sweat, and tears, man. Out there in the 110, 10 degree weather, man, on that turf, sweating hard, trying to achieve this goal, man. We fell short, but I think it made us who we are today. And so, it made us strong, we showed fight, we're fighters. So, I think we could take down the long run, just use those skills, or not those skills, like those attributes, the fighting experience, never giving up in our life, man. So
and you guys had Greg Zerline, the kicker, who's in the NFL.
yes.
Mike, the running back, he had an opportunity
Hmm.
with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, Green Bay, yep, and Tampa Bay. Yeah, we got
Yeah,
a few
so
guys, so
you guys had a couple of guys who definitely on that team. It was a tight end as well who had an opportunity.
hmm.
So you guys were really balling and really showed out. Um, up into this point in your life, though, what was the biggest adjustment that you had to make, rather it be on the field or off the field?
Um, I'm gonna say probably moving back to California, man. Just because, like, again, it's just the culture change, the how everything, like the speed is different
Mm-hmm.
from, like, the LA area, then being St. Joseph, Missouri,
Yeah,
small town, man. It's like 79,000 people, which is kind of big for a town out there, but
yeah,
you come back to LA with the population, like, I don't know, like probably, well, 400,000 or 500,000, close to a million maybe. So it's like, it's crazy, man. It's just like the speed was slow, then it's fast, and then it's just adjusting back to the lifestyle, and then trying to find an apartment, everything, or a house on your own, man,
mm-hmm.
because it's expensive out here. So it's
Yeah.
just biting down and trying to figure it out all over again.
For sure, for sure. So I want to go back a little bit because football season is over, and what can you share? What was your mindset after the season is over? Because I know you was dealing with an injury. Did you want to continue to play football, like pursue football, rather it be NFL, CFL, whatever it is, or were you like, what was your next step basically after the season was over, your senior year?
So, just get ready for the pro day. So I did the whole nine. I got ready for the pro day. I think I did pretty good at the pro day. Trying out for the CFL teams, going to those tryouts. And then the indoor football league, I actually got an offer from them, man. But at the time, I received that offer. My job was paying me more what they was offering. And I had to do some research as far as how it worked. And I was like, man, it's really not worth it in the long run. So that's when I just pretty much hung it up and just focused on my career from there, man. So
No, for
I was
sure,
like,
for
man, I'm
sure.
about to just lock in on this and see what happens.
And for those who don't know, Missouri Western, some NFL team uses their facilities for
Yeah,
for camp.
yes, one of those teams out there.
One of those teams, and I could be petty, but Kansas City Chiefs, they are on their facilities all the time because that's where they have
Training
training
camp.
camp. So it's a great resource for any of you guys who hear this. If you guys don't think you can get out from there, they have eyes down there and they have people down there. So Missouri Western, big shout outs to them. So prior to you coming to California, you stayed in Missouri though for a minute. So what made
Man,
you stay out
10
there?
years, man. 10 years.
You set roots down there.
Man. Nah, so I stayed because it was cheap, man. It
Yeah.
was cheap. I had to make sure my everything's was in order for the most part before I came back. 'Cause, California ain't no joke, man. You gotta
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
gotta be on your P's and Q's if you want to live out here. So I had to,
Uh-huh.
set the foundation, make sure the foundation was right, and just take my time. Even though I wanted to come back right away, I had to take my
Mhm.
time. Like I didn't want to come back and fail. You feel me? So I had to
Yeah.
make sure had some things in order, things lined up, and a solid plan before I just came back, man. So and then again, it was cheap, man. We had a but like we paid $575 for a 2 bedroom,
Yep.
2 bath, balcony, washer and dryer, man. St. Joe, like, hey, you paying that kind of money, you good. And my job was paying great, so I was like, oh man, like I'm good, like,
Yeah.
'cause like, I'm good. It's cheap. Like, I could go to California anytime, but every time it snowed, man, that's what got me. I said, all right, let me let me let me apply for these jobs, man, because the snow is no joke and black ice is no joke, man.
No
So
joke.
I
No
was like,
joke.
man, I gotta figure it out. So
Nah, for sure. I mean, prior to us, because our relationship, if I said all the time, I probably talked to Marcus the least growing up because even though I know who you are and we ran against each other, we competed. I just knew Austin and Dion. I knew everybody else. So
hmm
really, our relationship it didn't come till later on, and that's what I realized. I'm like, shoot, Marcus gonna figure out what's next first, and then he gonna figure out how to get there. So you definitely a planner, man. So I understand. We talked about it, prior to what needed to happen for you to move back to California, which then you end
hmm
up doing. And I think, like you said, you was there for a decade, but then you witnessed something that you guys didn't even do in high school. You just witnessed, first of all, a fellow teammate become the head coach at John Muir, and then you guys see you guys win, go to the playoffs, and then win, and then end up going to state and just falling short of winning a state championship. How was it to be a part of that and also witness that success at your alma mater?
Man, it was great because I was there from the beginning. Once I heard Lance got hired. He did his first speech with the guys in the weight room. I was there, introduced myself, and I thank Lance for allowing me just to be around. Just like we
Yeah,
had guys come around and be around Mirror when we're there, just
yeah,
being around the program, just helping the guys out. Really not on the coach staff, but helping the guys out,
yeah.
showing them the Mirror way, man, how things should be done and the pride and tradition that Mirror has. So thank Lance for allowing me to be there. But it was great, man. I'm a stain for life. So it was great seeing them have the success that they could have, man. It was tough in the beginning. It was like, man, like, 'cause like again, bro, Mirror's a winning program, so just seeing them fall short a couple of games early in the season, then of course losing to that team on the east side the way we did, man. It cut deep, but they was able to dig deep, man, and finished strong in the playoffs. Had a nice playoff run, won CIF,
Yeah.
and then got that bid to play for a state title, man. So it was just great just to be a part of that, just how the start of the season was and just how the way we finished. It was just great seeing the transition, and it just shows how the guys were able to buy in to what
Yeah,
Lance has going on over there. Not only Lance, but Marquise and some of the other coaches,
yeah,
Austin, Addison. The kids brought in. They believed in themselves and they believed in the coaches, and they were able to see a lot of success. I mean, because when we played, we didn't get to that CIF game, and it was hard. It was tough. So just to even accomplish that goal, then to win regionals and even play for state, man,
yeah,
it's a big deal. So I was happy to be a part of that, man. So
yeah, yeah. For those who don't know who's on the east side, he's talking about PHS. I'm not gonna tell the score. You guys can look that up, but yeah. So then I think Mir, and I tell you guys this. I think Mir does a great job of bringing guys back to keep the tradition going, but at the same time, everybody on that coaching staff for the most part is a Mirror alum, and that's one thing I do appreciate from you guys. And you know, we talk about it all the time. It's all about Pasadena. It doesn't matter if we're from PHS or Mirror. How do you think that Mirror sustains this success that they just had?
Hey, one more time, you cut out a little bit.
I said, how do you think Mirror keeps this sustain the success that they just had this past season?
Man, so it's gonna start with the guys that were there last year that experienced that success. You know, it really starts with the players. You know, it's their team, so you know their peers. They listen to each other and just getting them to continue to buy into the program. Like, hey, this is what we did, but we fell short of the state title, man. So you know, just coming back with that hunger and just continue to have the guys buy in, the incoming freshmen just, you know, getting them involved and like, hey, this is how things should be done. You know, if we lose 1 or 2 games, we gotta keep fighting, you know, because you never know what might happen, you know.
So, man, I want to fast forward now to this amazing event that we just witnessed. But before we go into, you know, what it took to get there, I want to go back a little bit. I want to know, because we as men, we don't talk about these things. You know, I want to know your thought process, because at the end of the day, we're giving game to these young men. I want to know your thought process of getting married, because like you said, growing up, single family home. So you never saw, you know, what it was to get married before. Like you saw from other people, but you didn't actually experience yourself. And you know, I'm the youngest in my family. I'm 10 years younger than my brother, and everybody else is double digits. So I saw my parents, I saw them get married. I got married at a young age, got divorced, got remarried last year, and you was in a wedding. So share, what was your thought process of, you know, what made you ready now, you as yourself, and then what made you ready to marry your wife, particularly at this moment?
This might sound a little selfish, but man, it's true. I had to make sure I was ready. You know, I had to make sure what I had going on was, you know, good enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
And just be able to like, all right, like just have that, like that solid foundation. Just make sure I was good, what I was doing, and comfortable where I was at before I could give myself to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to do that, and you're not ready. You don't
Yeah.
have a solid foundation, whatever you may be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. You want to be ready. You want to be able to give yourself fully to someone and not have, because you're still trying to focus on yourself
Mm-hmm.
and try to get to where you need to go. And it's not to say like you can't build with that person, but again, like having a solid, for me, just having a solid foundation and be able to be like, all right, this is a good stepping point for me to now move on and make that next step in life, and I can still continue to grow, even though I'm not really where I'm at, but like I'm comfortable enough to move forward and give myself to somebody else and continue to build with that person. So
Mm-hmm. And prior to you guys getting married, you guys were married, I mean, together for a long time. So
yeah.
how did you know, like, and you know, all right, this is who I want to do it with? How did you know that?
Man, like yeah, we've been together for a long time, man. So when we got married, it was like 10 years, like it would have been like our
Yeah.
10-year anniversary of us just being together. So 10 years is a long time, man. So oh man, I'm trying to I'm trying to think like, when did I know? I knew when I for sure when she moved out here, and I think a year after that, because I
Mm-hmm.
went to go buy the ring. So throughout the time when we was together in Missouri, I was like, man, she's it. She's the one. Um, she never pressured me to marry her. So I salute her for that. Kind of a lot of people get pressured into marriage, and you know you don't want you don't want that pressure to get to you, because if
Exactly.
you're not ready, you pull that trigger, then you know the domino starts to fall. So she never pressured me to marry her. Um, and she made sacrifices. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she stuck through a lot of BS that I did. And she was that she was there with me shooting in the gym, man. So
Yeah.
she believed in me, had faith in me. She trusted the process. She believed in the process. And I think was it 2000? I think 2021. I think I bought the ring, then I proposed, and the rest is history, man. So
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you being open about this situation because, it's a little personal. Of course, you don't want to put it in your business, but
hmm
I felt it was important because unfortunately, we do have a lot of men in this day and age, or young men, who don't see marriage and they don't believe in it. And for us as Black men as well, to get married during this time period, I think this is what the young men need to see, and they need to understand that process that you're going to go through. And sometimes, we don't understand why we're getting into something, but if you understand it a little bit more, you can make a decision that's best for you. Everybody's situation is different.
hmm
And the day and age of what we're going through with social media, instant gratification, we want things now. Marriage is not like that. And there's going to definitely be some hard times. My 1 year anniversary is coming up in March. And on the 18th. So it is a process, but it is worth it if you find someone that you truly love, and you guys can work things out together. So I definitely appreciate you sharing that. So, man, I want to get into now this event, man. And for those people who is not there, y'all missed it. All right, y'all. So they called it the Tompkins experience. First of all, if you already knew what kind of event it was going to be, because I can't even say it was an event. All right, you already knew what it was going to be with the invitations. Okay, you had the QR codes on there and everything like that. So I want to know, because I know you're a planner, but I also know your wife. So what inspires you guys to put together this truly amazing experience of wedding, man?
Man, we didn't want to have the traditional wedding, man. We didn't want it to be like I don't want to say like slow pace or whatever. We wanted something different. We wanted it to be like a event, something like everybody be like, dang, that was it, man. So I think we succeeded in that part, man, because like I said, like you said, it wasn't a wedding. It was a real event, man. We wanted everybody to come have a good time. Of course, we got the 21 and over, leave
Yeah.
your kids at home. So I think the parents that came to the wedding, they appreciate that, like yourself, man. It was like, hey, man, so kids free, have a good time. But it was a lot of planning, man. It was stressful, of course, but it paid off at the
Yeah,
end. But
for
it
sure.
was just something we was talking about, and just something like we could just continue to talk about for the rest of our lives, man. Because it was an amazing day. It was just I'm like lost for words, man, because it was just it was flawless, man. I mean, from the food to the venue and everything, man, it was
Yeah.
flawless. So just able to put that amazing event together and everybody enjoy themselves was amazing. So
Now we joked as and I appreciate you for letting me be part of the wedding. I was in the wedding, so I
yeah,
appreciate that. But we joked how I was like, man, I want to do it over again, jokingly.
yeah,
Because what
yeah.
y'all had programs, everything. Y'all did it real nice, man. It was very beautiful. I mean, from the
Appreciate it.
from the colors and everything, y'all, everything came out real white, man. So I definitely, like I said, you already know, I'm proud of you guys, happy for you guys, man. And I appreciate you getting on, man. And this is my last question. Basically, the floor is yours, man. What is something that you would like to ask me, or something you would share to these young men going forward, rather than football and life, anything, man? Floor is yours.
Um, I would just tell them to believe in themselves, man. Don't get distracted by social media because it's real heavy these days. So don't get distracted what you see on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, man. Know right from wrong. Don't be easily influenced, man. Have your own brain, excuse me, and do things for yourself and not for other people, man.
Yeah.
Because people can have hidden agendas and get yourself caught up in a situation you didn't want to be a part of. So just be your own person, be your own man. If you have questions, ask other men, or ask your moms, or someone
Mhm.
that you trust, I should say, man, to help you figure out some things, man. Sometimes you're gonna feel like you're alone, so that's why I suggest you talk to somebody at least, and then you'll take in their information and you could come up with their whichever outcome you want to come up with.
Yeah.
But ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions, man. So if you see me, you can ask me. I help you out. Ness, of course, will help you out, man. I know Ness got a lot of knowledge over there, man. So hey, go to Ness first before you come to me. But but I'll help you out and just share some experience or give you some free game or advice of what I think, and then you'll apply it to how you see fit into your life accordingly. So that's what I would say to them. That's about it, man. I don't have any questions for you, man. I appreciate it again because it's just an honor to be on this show, man. So
Uh, you already know, man. I had to. I gotta ask a question. I'm not trying to
yeah,
name
go
drop,
ahead.
but how do you know Marcus Peters? How was he at the wedding?
Nah, so my boy Barry, Barry,
Who was
that
with
works
him? The
at the
tall
job.
dude?
Yeah, Barry. So me and Barry, man, we locked in when I came out and began working at Sycamores, man. Ever since then, man, me and Barry been locked in from the beginning, and we just been hanging out, kicking it. I talk to him pretty much like almost every other week, man, just to
Yeah,
check in and see how he's doing. Cause he moved back up to Oakland, and then hanging out with Barry, he introduced me to Marcus, man, and Marcus, he's a real dude, man.
real.
He's a real dude.
Mhm.
Um, like I don't care what the media show you
Yeah.
or what they display about him, man. I would like to say I know him pretty personally, man, because as you see, he
Mhm.
was at the wedding, man. He's a real dude. Ever since Barry introduced us, he always looked out, had nothing but positive things to say. He's heavily involved in the community, so it's just like, man, he 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 welcomed me and Keisha like he knew us
Yeah.
for his entire life, man. So he's a real dude. Was no like who is this guy? Like the
Yeah.
head, like hold on, like watch out. Like it was
Yeah.
never none of that. So every time we hung out, it was just always cool vibes, positive vibes, man. And I appreciate him and his wife for coming. And then even Barry just introduced me to him because not everybody get introduced to those people because just a whole trust factor thing. So it
Nah, for
just
sure.
shows how much trust Barry has in me, and then how much trust Marcus has in Keisha and I myself, because
Mhm.
he came to the wedding. So, but yeah, he's like again, he's a real dude, man. So he's a real dude. Again, I don't care what the media say or what they
Yeah.
show. He's a real dude out in the community. He does a lot for his community, and he looks out for his people for sure.
Mhm.
So yeah, salute to him, man.
Nah, I chopped it up with him real quick, man, and like you said, I felt the genuineness of just him talking. He kept it real, was being straight to the point, man. And I was like,
Hmm.
man, this is a cool dude. I can tell. So, you vouching for him. He's at your wedding. You just don't invite anybody to your wedding. So
Yeah, you don't like
that just
anybody.
tells you,
Yeah.
yeah. So that just tells you, man. So that's what's up, bro. That's what's up, man. But I appreciate you, bro, getting on, man. I appreciate you sharing your story and your experience, bro. And it's nothing but love, bro, always. And I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, bro. I'll get at you.
All right.